everyone, welcome back to the stream. We're going to be running through the final Fringe, which is the harder of the two versions of the Cog golf courses that we're playtesting. Just to go around and do some quick introductions, I'm Susie. I'm not actually in the golf cart, but I'm going to be doing some commentary with the folks who are. Y'all want to go?
Yeah, I'm Jess, and I'm Bubbles Fizzleflip.
I'm Will, and I'm on Steel Blue Dog.
And I'm Bella, and I'm playing Pianissimo.
And I'm Kate, and I was on Murtec.
Cool. This one, I think, also turned out to be 4 floors. We are re-recording over the audio that had been part of the stream, unfortunately, just because we did not get it captured very well. For context, at the playtest, we were actually all sitting around a round table with about 10 people at it. And we sat across from each other in awkward ways where these 4 were playtesting in this, and some of our friends were actually playtesting in another environment. It just made for really, really bad audio issues. So we're back. We're commenting over it after the fact about, 12 hours later at this point.
It's quite late for us now. It's almost 1 a.m.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
But we're dedicated, so it's fine.
We're doing great. But yeah, they just started, and if you'll notice, the floor actually started off with a single maze.
It was a double.
It was a double, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They were right.
So I believe there's 4 floors, and I think the first 3 they are double mazes, and then the last one is a quad. And probably my biggest point of feedback for this is that I want the quads, yes. But I just really enjoy the mazes. I am one of those crazy people who love back nines, specifically for the quads. So if they could incorporate more of those to make this just a little bit more fun, that would be great.
Similar thoughts from the last video, if you watched us go through the East Wing. I would love to see them do a little bit more refresh of the actual environments in here, kind of spruce it up a little bit. I mean, refresh the maze, give it some fresh graphics, maybe make a couple new mazes. But they keep largely in here. Basically everything in here is exactly the same as far as textures go, as far as room layouts go. They've just kind of mixed it up and made some changes, obviously, with the levels of the Cogs. So again, I would love to see them do a little bit more refreshing of the actual room areas, not taking anything away, but making some minor changes, maybe making some new challenges for us too.
Yeah,
right.
As you see just noting there in the game, it looks like this floor didn't have all of the games that you normally expect in each hole for a back nine or whatever. So
Yeah.
It looks like some of them are only on certain holes.
Yeah. There was no moles, there were no puzzles to get gags back.
Right.
It was just a maze and the 2 battles.
Which I do like the mix and matching. It definitely helps cut down some time. I know I mentioned that in the office clerk video, but I feel time-wise, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, this is about 23 minutes it took us to do this total, and I'm really for making this as fast as possible without removing necessarily any of the elements that make all of these facilities unique, as we could still do the golfing and the moles and the mazes. They're all still here, it's just in a different capacity.
Right. The higher level cogs make it easier and shorter too.
And we talked about this a little bit in the last video, but just in case you didn't see that one, we are on the QA server, or they're on the QA server, and so the rewards that they're using are not gonna disappear from their live game accounts. So we're a little bit reward happy in this one. Probably won't be using 5s in every battle and level 7s in every battle, but just for the sake of kind of getting and pushing through this, they are gonna be using quite a lot of them in here.
We get very fire happy.
You're fired, and you're fired.
So there were still no moles on this one, if I recall.
Right, I think it's the next floor that we get to see the moles for the first time.
Because then we have gag restock here, and then this is where I realized I didn't gag drop like I normally would.
None of us did, I don't think.
Although it looks like it's probably gag dropping is probably not going to be something that's as important anymore, as there's
Right.
fewer floors in less opportunities to restock. So
Yeah.
And if you're unfamiliar with what that concept is, typically folks that are working later on in their boss suit, if you're going into back 9, you'll drop like 20 of your gags, so you'll come in with like 60. And what that does is it's going to offset the amount of gags that you would need to earn back. So like say if you come in with 80 gags and you only use 1 on that first battle, then you have 4 puzzles. You only get 1 shot at getting a fog back, whereas if you dump your gags, you've got 20 slots to fill back up with gags, and hypothetically, however many puzzles you solve, that's how many chances you have at getting a fog back. So that's why we were doing that in the past. So kind of a typical end to the floor. There's a V2 cog. Did we see any V2 cogs in the earlier battles?
I believe
Yes.
so. It was
Okay.
level 9, I think, in one of the floors.
Yeah.
I think so far we've had a V2 cog in the last battle of every floor.
Okay, but
I'm
not
not
the
sure.
first battle.
Not in the first battle.
I think it was a level 12, if I recall.
Oh yes.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a normal regular. Yeah.
See, one thing that I would like to see in the final fringe, the more difficult one of the golf courses, I would love to see level 14s. I feel like with Lawbot, 13 is a good max, but I feel like for Boss Bot, since it is technically supposed to be a little bit of a later game content, getting just a slight step higher in a level cap would be a really nice way to, again, introduce tunes for the first time to the higher levels, kind of in preparation for the field offices if new tunes have not done them yet. So
Agreed.
I am curious to see what the health points look like on the club president and the office clerk. They aren't listed with any like levels. They actually show up as a health bar. And I'm wondering if it's closer to a level 20 or if it's above what a level 20 would have for hit points. I'm sure somebody's going to do the math at some point to like figure it out, but it would be interesting to know what that looks like exactly.
There were some rumors out there that the clerk was 1,000 HP. I don't know how accurate it is, but I did see that floating around.
I feel like that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
I can't recall. I don't know if this was in this particular one or if it was in the one I did afterward. But we used a railroad and like several pianos, and it took a while to get it knocked down. So
Right.
I wonder if that's what it's at then. I think level 20 is at like 496 health. Does that sound right? Is that like a weird number I just made up?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I would math it for you, but I don't think the formula is the same after level 12. So.
It's not.
It's not.
There's a different formula for 13 through 20, but thankfully we don't fight level 20 cogs frequently.
Yeah. This one we got 16 moles. As I think that's the same as back 9 currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a maze.
It seems like the difference between, unfortunately we don't run through any of the easy courses, but it seems like the difference between the easies and the hards right now is that the like levels are slightly reduced. The cheats that you see at the end with the mini bosses are also slightly reduced, like their attack values are slightly reduced, and then maybe stuff in here where like the amount of puzzles you need to solve and then like the moles you need to get at as well.
So one thing I did notice, I did the first fairway, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I did one recently, and I believe that the mazes, it's a 1 part maze, 1 part maze, 1 part maze, 2 part maze,
Mm.
if I'm recalling correctly.
So there are 4 floors still in that one.
I think so.
Because I know in
There may have been 3.
in the DA, I'm pretty sure there are only 3 on
That's
the easy
correct.
one. Yeah.
For the West Wing, there were only 3 floors. For the East Wing, there were 4 floors.
It's definitely harder to keep track when there's not like the set,
Mm-hmm.
the normal what we're all used to of the moles, and then the cog, the maze, and then the cogs, and then the golfing, and then the next set of cogs. And
The chat definitely got into at one point, talking about how like it didn't feel quite, the balance didn't feel quite right of it going from 3 floors to 4 floors for easy to hard. It feels like a step between like an office C and an office D rather than like a front 3 to like a back 9. So they might have a little bit more balancing to do there. But
I really would like to see them take the final fringe up a notch in that sense. I feel like I feel like the first fairway or whatever it is called, it is a pretty standard level set, whereas this I feel like it could take a step up and see a little bit of higher level caps. I know I've said that already, but I'm a big supporter of it.
I agree.
Yeah. People are also commenting, and you'll see it when we finally get to the club president here. But that battle felt a little bit too easy. Like it wasn't punishing enough. Some of her cheats, like they're just pretty easy to kind of bypass. They're good ideas. They just need to be implemented a little bit differently. I think she ends up summoning in like level 14 cogs, and they're if somebody's willing to throw an opera, it's pretty easy to get rid of them all in one go and not have to worry about it.
I also heard for the strategy for this, I know some of our friends who were playtesting this next to us in a different group. What they did for the club president was just lure and TNT piano the club president and just get her out of the way, because just like the office clerk, if you get rid of the other cogs, she will summon more once. I believe it's once her cheat is triggered, once you technically defeat her. But she's not defeated right away. She has some sort of like summoning cheat before and you have to get rid of all the cogs first before she throws her tantrum. Which is honestly the best part of this whole thing, in my personal opinion.
Oh, just wait.
It's very cute. I don't know if we've talked about this already, but the team isn't certain that they're going to stick with these names. So the first fairway and the final fringe looked like they were hoping for new ideas, but they did tell us pretty much everything in here is still open to changes, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, if you're watching this like in the distant future, probably doesn't apply to you, but if you're watching it like in the next week or so, maybe like month or so, you could always send some feedback into the feedback channel in the Toontown Hub server, and let them know like what you think, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you've got like other opinions or other good ideas, just stick in there. They really would like some feedback from actual players, so please do that if you're watching in the not so distant future.
Right. The best way to make changes that the community does like is having the community feedback, which is why I'm really glad that they're doing the play tests and also showing just the new content at the stages that they are in, like Clear Coast, the remastered. Having the feedback is really nice and helpful in terms of progressing forward from where we are.
I like that we started off with a maze.
Our first quad maze,
Quad
I
maze.
believe.
Which I was very excited to see, because up until this point I thought they were not in this, and I was a little upset.
If you can't tell, we're all fans of the quad mazes. So.
Yes.
Not me, I'm not.
Oh, right. Well.
Oh no.
But that's because I run all 4 tunes, and I get absolutely lost when there's more than one
yeah.
generally, and I will just like stop and wait for my tunes to be teleported to the end, because I'm like, I can't do this.
Here's where I was questioning if it was 5.
We're debating what floor it is, and
Well, it just said it. 3 plus 1.
It was definitively the 4th floor.
Definitely the 4th.
so there are going to be a couple battles in here. You'll see, like, there still sound is sometimes a viable option, but not always, and we may need help with the extra cog at the end. So again, really good spot for soundless tunes to be in, much more soundless friendly.
Yeah.
Super excited to see that.
We should probably mention, we wanted to see how it was playing with one soundless tune, so we made sure we had a soundless tune in both of the facilities, and we really didn't struggle at all having a soundless tune in these, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it would make any difference if you had 4 soundless doing this, to be honest.
Right.
That was really interesting
Oh.
when that happened. I
Yeah.
ran through it and then was pulled back.
Oh,
Glitched out.
a little laggy.
I feel like this whole thing was just a bit laggy, but I was streaming it to Discord while also recording on OBS, so the quality may not be the most
And also
wonderful,
on the
but-
convention center Wi-Fi.
I was on the staff Wi-Fi,
Oh,
so
okay,
it
you
was
switched over.
different, but
And it might be worth noting, when we started our stream, we were the only people at the PlayStations because there was a panel going on, and then the panel ended, and everyone
Mhm.
came back to the Toontown booth, and so then there was a lot more people like
Yeah.
on this test server
right.
and taxing the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
How dare they?
I know. It was our turn.
How dare they play Toontown when we want to play Toontown?
But yeah, big shout out to the team for letting us put this on and helping us kind of organize towards the end there. We were actually able to get it hooked up to a laptop so we could stream the actual game and not from one of our phones.
There she is.
You
Oh, and I said it.
I know there's been some good memes about the club president going around and like the gaslight gatekeep girl boss sort of slogan, I guess. And
Yeah, if you missed the team's panel, first of all, definitely stop and go back and watch it. But the team had a running joke that they were calling this supervisor Cog the girl boss, so that's where all of those comments are coming from.
she does look menacing too.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about her buffs that she
Yeah.
has.
She's also fire and remote resistant. She won't do that, and lure resistant. So lure's only gonna last for one round on her. And then it told us that using throw and squirt on her might be a bad idea. So that's obviously the first thing that we did.
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like this is the first time I noticed, but the cake textures, I heard that they were different, but they look really good.
She minus 50, I believe.
Yeah, she did minus 50.
And
Yep.
she said, "Do you know how much hair appointments cost?"
Yep.
So she had an immediate chance to attack there with her cheat in retaliation to having throw used on her, and then she got her normal attack that she did as well. So I think. Go ahead.
I should note that it's 50 every time, no matter what gag you use. For the office clerk, it was a max of 50, but if you used lower level sound gags, it would do less damage.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, it appears to be 50 no matter what gag you used, we found out.
Right.
And I think we test that out maybe next round or something.
Yes.
Right, with my cream pie.
Right.
Have we talked about the status that all the tunes have?
No.
If you notice, there's a status effect on all of the tunes, counting down from 3, 2, 1 on each round. And I believe something bad happens when we don't defeat the club president within 3 rounds.
If I recall correctly, she takes one of our gags, right? Is that what happens?
I actually
was
don't
like-
remember what
Yeah, I
happens.
think it's big damage is what it says.
Yeah. It says
Big
there's
damage
gonna be
happens.
big
Okay.
And it's
Maybe-
minus 65, I
Oof.
believe. It was pretty
Yeah.
intense.
Okay.
The other thing that just happened is they defeated the extra 3 cogs in the battle, and now she has gotten an extra attack for every cog that is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you're seeing her attack 4 times in a row, right there.
If I
And I like the speed there, that it just constantly attacked people rather than reloading and
Doing another.
she's just
animation.
firing them
Right.
off.
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
Like I said, you're fired, and you're fired,
Yep.
and you're fired. I do think, I don't know, maybe it was the clerk fight, but our trap was taken at some point.
oh, maybe I didn't notice because I'm trapless.
Oh my gosh.
I believe, Will, you're trapless too on this team.
That's correct,
Yes.
yes.
No, I was
Okay.
I was an Andropolis.
I wonder if that was that status effect we couldn't figure out at the office.
It's
Oh,
possible.
that is
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I don't
We'll see.
remember not having trap, but I also wasn't necessarily paying attention.
Yeah.
Right. I love her earrings.
Yes.
They
I
are
love the
fabulous.
golf
I was gonna
balls.
say, you are the token golfer, so I
Yeah.
feel like you would have appreciated those.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was just
50
flat
no
50.
matter what.
50. And that seems to be, was that the first thing she did?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so she's gonna rack off her cheats, and then she's gonna go through all of her attacks. So we had one, that one kind of reset a little bit, 2, and then a third.
To headhunt that cog. Gotta appreciate
and
the text.
then a fourth and some jelly beans.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
And that was the times up one, so that meant
Oh, so
we,
it's minus 50, not 65
Yeah.
then.
I
so
think, yeah.
I think we glitched a little bit there. I don't think so. I think you threw. I think what happened is you threw a unite.
I do think we glitched a little because I was trying to point it out, but I couldn't talk. You see that everyone but Will has that big damage thing on them, but Will doesn't, and it was kind of weird that that's how that worked.
Yeah,
Right.
That was strange.
Like we landed on the floor randomly and it didn't do anything to us. So
Yeah, so that right there was more than 500 damage,
right,
but
and
that got her.
Yep, but she steps away, and bam.
And so we think that this was summoning in all of the cogs we killed before she was killed. So hypothetically, if we had kept all of the cogs that were there with her and defeated her first, none of these would have spawned in.
Interesting.
And now we have just decided we're going to get rid of these very quickly.
Yes.
And not even deal with her second round cheats. So that's what we were talking about earlier. It was a little bit too easy at this point.
Well, it's worth noting we can't actually attack her right now. She has stepped back, and we can only attack these three.
Right. And especially if you had a team of just all sound tunes, that would just be quite an easy fight.
We definitely didn't need 3 operas and a Mo there. That would have,
No.
we could have done a little.
It was just for fun, right?
right.
I love this particular part, though.
Why, you little.
There she goes.
I love the big jump and then bam!
It's so
It's
cute.
cool. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It was fantastic.
Very good addition.
Yeah.
So
So-
stock option numbers.
I think we're all maxed in this.
Right, I
But-
know. But we figured out that it was about 1,000 that it gives right now,
Mhm.
but
Right.
they haven't done anything to like. It seems like they haven't put in like the floor multipliers or anything like that. So it's
Right.
just like the basic what the cogs give.
And on purpose. They've
Right.
left that out on purpose because they want to hear from players right now what they think is going to be a good number, a reasonable number.
I would say, in terms of what I think that this should give, I would say a back 9 right now gives about 5,500, a little over 5,000. I feel like this could maybe kind of fall in that range of like 5,000 to 6,000, and I feel like that would still be fair. I don't see it being much higher than what a back 9 currently gives in the game, just because I feel like that particular update really just improved just the back 9 grind in
Yes.
general, so I can't see them being too much more generous.
Yeah, I cut it down to about 20 minutes is what it takes to do this,
Yeah.
which is absolutely amazing compared to a back 9.
Definitely.
I liked the 20-25 minute mark. I don't think I want to see it reduced further than what it is, just because
For sure.
of what the grind has been in the past. And I would like to see people still in Boss Butt headquarters. Like, I don't want people to be more rare than they already are there.
Yeah.
So,
I think because we were a little bit reward heavy at some points, that it statistically should be a little bit longer. I imagine that the average would be like 25 to 28 minutes upon completion, but who knows? I guess we'll have to see how it is implemented and how the meta changes.
cool. Any other closing thoughts from anyone?
Loved it.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
Love the girl boss.
Yes. I think we're gonna head over after this, and we'll have one more video up at some point on the walkthrough of Donald's, the preview of the new Donald's Dreamland Street.
Snooze Square.
Absolutely.
That will eventually lead over to,
Clear Coasts.
Clear Coasts. So feel free to go over and check out that video, and thanks so much for tuning in, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.